I don't think there's any spoilers in here. It was just like a really quick sketch to try to convey something with fewer words. But essentially, right now when you log into the game, you'll have everything going into one window, and it just kind of blasts by you. So if you hail an NPC or whatever, it just kind of disappears in the just spam of everything like OOC and everything else, right? One of the things Nick had mentioned, I don't like year one, it was like, what if there's like a quest text window? I think my immediate response was probably like, oh, we don't want to have too many different windows and don't want any hokey pop-ups and stuff like that. And then over the years, as we continue to sort of work through this, the idea, it just made more and more sense. And then as we figured out like we were doing mud commands and stuff, then we're putting even more stuff in this general window, and it was just kind of like, okay, that's not working. So we've come back to that idea and thought, all right, so what if there's two windows? And if you guys have played Pantheon and you look at the mouse over they have on their combat window, mouse over with the filter options, that's really nicely done. That's a pretty clean UX on that, right? It's really neat to be able to mouse over that and to quickly be able to like filter self, group, damage. Tsunami-san said, what about tabs on top of general window? That too, we can do that as well. But one of the things that would like to try, have an interaction window. So like that hail text, dialogues with NPCs, quest text, mud actions, all those pop into a window that just, it's hidden when it pops. Like basically when you get something, it comes up. So it's kind of serves as a notification as well. The problem with doing it on a tab is, again, it's putting everything kind of in here. Then you gotta even recognize that the tab's blinking and shit like that. It's just not as in your face. So the idea that this thing then pops up, you see it, and now you see, okay, NPC said something to me, right? And it can have a slow fade. We'll give you some parameters that you can tweak so you can customize it. You can have it stay up if you want. You could have it fade at different speeds, whatever, not fade all the way down. So provide you with that. Give you multiple entry points into mud actions. If you look here, Keith had just added this, right? So he changed the look button over here to interact and then made a button for all of the mud actions. But one of the challenges with it just being a button is the various actions have different arguments, right? It's like take, you need to say what you want to take, or inspect, you need to say what you want to inspect. Pry, you need to have, an item on your cursor that is actually capable of prying and all that. So the idea here with this was, rub, what do you want to rub? Taste, what do you want to taste? The thought is, even with something like that button bank, if you had it, it could still, you push the button, and what it does is it fills in the slash command for you, or you could just type it in slash, like with your keyboard, and slash pry goes into here, so using the button, typing slash say with NPC targeted, using slash mud, having macros, because you could actually set up a mud command with a macro since it's just a slash command. Anyways, it all goes into this box. And when it pops up, it actually tells you the arguments in like a light look, kind of a light gray back here. So it's actually reminding you of what you need to do, right? So you type in slash pry, or you hit the slash pry, or you hit the pry button. It pops up in here, and then it's like, okay, what do you want to pry? And it's reminding you need to hold an item, or select button that. Then it asks you what you want to use and selects that from the inventory. Want this to be two things though. It needs to feel as much like an old adventure game or a mud as possible, like a multi-user dungeon. And I think it's important for that to maintain that feel. Otherwise, it's no longer mud actions. It's no longer, it feels less and less text-based. And then the way that you tend to have to interact with your inventory and stuff in this game, it's reinforcing to you that these aren't buttons. These are items. Like this is a necklace on my cursor right now. It's not just a icon. This ain't no Sierra game. Well, but it gets its roots from a Sierra game and Infocom, right? You guys went old school. You guys went nostalgic. We got it for you. You loved Infocom games. Leather Goddesses of Phobos. King's Quest, brilliant games. I mean, the select items from clicking reminds you of Sierra. Right on. What is MUD short for? Multi-user dungeon. We just called it that because it's kind of text-based, and anything we can do to kind of do a little throwback back in homage to the earlier days, in a sense, kind of get people to remember them, and builds a little bit of that nostalgia factor in what we're doing, but it also kind of keeps it alive, leaning into that graphical mud feel makes the world seem bigger. Well, and it should, right? Like I said earlier, if you watched Wednesday's stream, I was implementing some I was showing you how we can nest mud actions within each other, so that you can walk into a place and get one description and then go somewhere else and get like a even more specific description and then interact with that thing. And I was mentioning earlier in the stream that I actually ran with that yesterday just for fun, because I was like, man, I haven't implemented a whole new quest chain in a while. And I actually have that kicking off a little quest that, you know, does some fun stuff, in my opinion. It may be one that you figure out like the first half of it or first third of it really quickly, and then you will be shocked to find out that it just kind of abruptly ends, but maybe it doesn't really. So that'll be fun.